He's been a career employee here in federal service, and in my mind, has done a good job. I've thanked him on a number of occasions for his work, and I look forward to seeing him and working with him even more in this role. So we welcome you here today. President Trump's budget prioritizes construction of a border wall at the expense of critical Homeland Security priorities, such as first responder and Homeland Security grants, cybersecurity programs to defend against foreign spying, and initiatives to secure our transportation systems from terrorist attack. The acting secretary's prepared testimony states doing more with less is an acceptable method for achieving mission goals. Yet, this is exactly what the president's budget request would force key parts of the department to do. The president would squander $8.6 billion in taxpayers' money on a wall that will do nothing to address the current situation on the border. I suspect the acting secretary knows that, even if he cannot say it for fear of being the next department official to be dismissed by the White House. And make no mistake, it will be the American people picking up the tab for the wall, not Mexico, as President promised. Congress is preparing to provide additional funding to address the humanitarian crisis on the border, but we cannot allow the president to compromise the rest of the department or our nation's homeland security in the meantime. Unfortunately, rather than engaging with Congress to address the humanitarian crisis and implement sound border policy, the White House only continues to make matters worse. The president fired department officials who tried to offer a voice of reason, cut off aid to Central America intended to help address the root causes of migration, and is sending essential DHS personnel to the border, potentially undermining the department's other critical missions. Frankly, between the vacancies at the department and the reports of infighting coming out of the White House, it's difficult to know who's calling the shots when it comes to the border: the president, the acting secretary, or Stephen Miller. Meanwhile, the number of people in CBP's custody continues to rise. We also continue to see shocking photos of families being held in inhumane conditions and children sleeping on the bare ground covered by nothing more than 4 blankets. And tragically, just this week, yet another child died in the department's custody. But what can we expect from an administration that separated at least 5,000 children from their parents at the border? To the extent this administration has a border policy, it has been an abject failure. It is past time to implement a strategy of common sense solutions to address the humanitarian crisis at the border while ensuring security and upholding our values. First, we need to ensure humanitarian conditions for people in custody, and particularly vulnerable populations like children and pregnant women. The surge in families at our borders does not excuse inhumane treatment or relieve us of an obligation to treat people with basic decency. As I mentioned, Congress is engaging with this administration to provide supplemental funding. Second, we need more immigration judges and asylum officers to increase capacity to handle asylum claims and address the long-standing immigration court backlog. Third, we need to expand proven cost-effective alternatives to detention to ensure people show up for their court dates as scheduled while their cases proceed. Finally, we need to help address the root causes prompting people to come north by restoring aid to Central American countries acting as partners in addressing this crisis. We can protect our borders and our homeland while also protecting our American values. The President and the White House have not proven up to that task, but I hope the acting secretary will partner with Congress in that effort. In closing, I want to thank the over 240,000 men and women in the Department of Homeland Security for the work they do to secure our nation every day. From the Coast Guard personnel patrolling our coast and waterways to the Customs and Border Protection officers at our land borders to the transportation security officers I see as I fly to and from Jackson, Mississippi every week and everywhere in between. We appreciate the work you do. I thank the members for joining us, and I look forward to our discussion. I'll now recognize the ranking member of the full committee, the gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Rogers, for an opening statement.